am I on? All right, we're downtown. I made it to the Kohler Times. This is number 2. Whether they're going to respond today. Why, their coverage on various cases for all of our new friends on all these other sites. I've covered a lot of corruption within this city over the last 2 or 3 years, and for our new viewers, you might not be aware of some of those. And though I'm dealing with something that some people might be offended, and it's about a road thing. Hopefully we'll get to the road. But it's really it's just kind of like a little symptom of what you see as a greater problem within this community. Now, I was surprised I actually made it to the side street. I drove into downtown from Flower Bluff, beautiful day, stopped and got my coffee. But you have a lot of one-way streets here, beautiful area, and it's very difficult. You go down one, there's a sign. I almost could not even make it to this particular side street, so I'm at the back of the Kohler Times. And we're going to get to the road that they're accusing. They basically, to me, when they put all those editorials, and there were 3, and it kind of it said people are now going to get killed and run over. One thing, I've been to more car wrecks than every single opinion writer and employee at that entity called the Kohler Times. 25 years as a firefighter, a big problem was major car accidents, primarily on a highway called Highway 77. So I'm familiar with car wrecks, why they happen. Certain areas where we have a lot of them, like more. So, the whole criticism that this newspaper has on that particular road, hopefully I'll get to it next. When they rerouted that particular road, anybody could see that that was a problem. And just on a small scale, they don't see it because the same thing when they covered particular illegal activities by people that were in the inner circle of this community. I covered cases of Judge Vinales. He comes up again when he committed various crimes in a vehicle, running people over, hitting them. But this newspaper went out of their way to cover that. And it upset me because all of the stuff I've covered over these past few years, when you see corruption, even to a level where there's some within this community in high positions that have affiliations with drugs, to be quite frank. And it's kind of a common knowledge. But these are Hispanic families that have been here for many, many years. And I used to do a little halfway house not too far from here. I used to pass up some of these places, and it's kind of common knowledge. And I would think, why would like a newspaper in any reputable community, why would they got to know that. These are people that grew up here for many years and rose the ranks. But they don't cover those because those are people that they're possibly family friends with since they were younger. And so that shows me that this place, this so-called institution called the Corpus Christi Kohler Times, just like anybody else in any other race, they play into the same game. They play into that game. So this is number 2. And I'll tell you from experience that the stupidity of this whole thing about the road thing, you're not covering it in a way like you should. That's called the old courthouse. For many, many years, they tried to tear it down. Then there was a fight over it in this community over certain historical people said, no, it's a historical building, which you finally got. Okay, so you had that going on for a long time. And when you report on things, especially, I mentioned the other day, and I'm not going to mention that one, but it came to my attention that there was a particular crime reported, and it was reported to the mayor. And this came from a source that I'm not It's not a street source like my friends in the street. But it's a crime that involves young children. It's a crime that many people, the federal courthouses over here, that particular type of crime, you would go to a federal court, and many have gotten sent up. But when this was brought to the attention of the mayor, by the way, from what I was told, and I believe it's accurate, because it's somebody that, if you will, is connected, they decided that that crime would be covered up. And so when I heard that, and the mayor knows, the evidence was given to the mayor. And I thought, what hypocrites. What a bunch of hypocrites you are. Those that are in leadership in this community. What a bunch of hypocrites you are. When this paper goes out of its way to say, we are somehow a voice for justice in this community. And when I know that you've covered up for all types of stuff, you've advocated openly for particular individuals, that if they were another race, you publicly go after those same individuals who would have committed the same types of crimes. In all the years I've done ministry, I've worked with white guys, I've worked with Mexican brothers, Hispanic brothers, and black brothers. And I've always tried to be fair with all of them. And when I see in this community how you have, you yourself, so-called voice to show truth, but yet you won't come public about your own affiliations or why you would cover up from that judge at that time, which was so obvious. So this is number two. We've already contacted you on the first video, Kohler Times, and all the names that I put down there for your editorial board. I've not gotten a response yet. So this could be titled, Kohler Times refuses to respond whether they have any connections within corruption within Nueces County, and if those connections have caused them to possibly collude with illegal corruption, drugs, and all these things, and if those connections have caused them to print defamatory articles towards certain members of the community and then to cover up for others. I have not heard a response yet. The Kohler Times building is right behind me.